So I had served 22 missions. In between those missions, we were, I think, I don't know if you call it lucky or unlucky to be chosen, but our 451st Bomb Group was chosen to do a mission that was quite, well, it had to be a volunteer mission. And I'll tell you what it was. Patton's army was stranded in France. He had moved up so fast with his own troops that all of his supplies didn't keep up with him. So there he was, pretty well stranded and not able to get supplies to him. The job that we were asked to do was to get those supplies up to him. The supplies were gasoline and ammunition. Now I just got through telling you about all the guns that we had in the plane. And those guns were all taken off the plane to do this mission. They all were taken off. Wasn't one gun left on the plane. We had no firepower at all, no help whatsoever. So after the guns were taken off, they loaded the plane with tanks of gas, big tanks of gas, and also boxes of ammunition that were needed for Patton's army. So to fly those missions, all they wanted was a radio operator, an engineer, a pilot, and a co-pilot, 4 people. And they didn't have to do this. They had to volunteer. Well, the reason I volunteered was not to be, because I thought I was going to be brave about it, or be a hero. I thought I would like to see France. I never had been to France. So wouldn't this be a great opportunity to fly into France? So I volunteered for this job. Anyway, we had to fly at 40,000 feet. This way we were to keep away from enemy aircraft and also small aircraft fire. And we landed without any problem. We landed into France on the airport where Patton was, and we got all of his supplies off the plane, and then went back to our own plane. I did 2 of these missions, but you know the funny part of it was, I didn't see France at all. All I did was help unload the plane, get back on, and went back home again. So I don't know why I thought it was going to be such a great thing to be in France, but I didn't. Anyway, and I probably shouldn't brag about this, but I did receive 2 presidential citations for the Oakleaf cluster for performing these missions. But I didn't do it to be a hero. I did it because I wanted to go to France. So anyway, that was in between the 22 missions that we had flown. Now, on November 16, 1944, I was to fly my 23rd mission. And I'd like to have you know that at this point, if I had completed 2 more missions, which would have been 25, I would have then been sent to a rest camp on the Isle of Capri. And I was hopefully waiting for that after the next missions. On my 23rd mission, we were to bomb Munich, marshalling yard. The guns there were something terrible. They had really planted all the guns that they used to have in Vienna, at the Vienna target up into Munich, so that was pretty well loaded with guns. We all bombed our target. It was very easy to see the target. It wasn't very cloudy that day, I remember. We bombed about 30,000 feet. We left our target, dropped our bombs off, and closed our bomb bay doors and started away. And about 15 minutes after we had left the target, a bomb went through our left wing. Probably a hole as big as this desk, leaving a hole in the plane. There was no way that the pilot could maneuver the plane. It was just going down. And he told us to be sure and get our chutes on and get out of there. We were, of course, then over enemy territory. We knew that. We did get our chutes on. I remember a couple of things that on this particular mission, I was with a strange crew. My assistant radio operator, which happened to be a very close friend of mine, was also, us 2 guys were replacements on that crew. I probably should have told you about this before, but those 2 guys, us 2 guys were the only 2 that were replacements on that crew. At the time we were shot down and started to get our chutes on, the bombardier came up into the area where I was, and we noticed that the top turret gunner had not moved from his desk, from his seat. And we wondered why he hadn't. But as it turned out, he was froze stiff. In other words, not cold, but scared stiff. He couldn't move. So the bombardier and I unclinched his hands off the seat, dropped the seat out. We had a lever that dropped the seat. We dropped the seat out, put his chute on him, dragged him to the bomb bay doors, and pushed him out. The only thing is, we thought maybe we could save his life, but we didn't because he never opened his chute. He was still pretty much unconscious. My good personal friend, Eugene Carney, who was my assistant radio operator, drove out the nose hatch too quick, and his chute caught in the propeller of the plane, and he was dragged down with the propeller, and we lost him. So we lost 2 men that day. So now I am parachuting down on the ground. I noticed a lot of flak around me. It seemed like, as I said several prayers on the way down, I hope that helped because none of the flak hit me, but it was all around me, all the flak smoke all around me. And I finally hit ground. It was really it was a beautiful feeling to be in the air and know that you're coming down and everything is safe. So I landed in the snow right into the Alps Mountains. Now it was cold. This is November, remember, and it was really cold. I had carried my GI shoes. I hooked them into my chute. And I remember when the chute opened, the shoes hit me in the chin. But I was glad I had them, so it didn't bother me any. I got down and changed my shoes. I changed the shoes that we had on. We had an electric suit. I don't know if you knew about the electric suits that we used to wear. But the shoes were just, there weren't any really soles to them, just soft shoes. The shoes were fastened to our leg pants, the pant legs, hooked in like an electric connection. Our pants were connected to our waist. Then we had gloves that hooked into our sleeves of our waist. So then we were plugged into the plane, so because it was so cold, these suits kept us warm. However, after we left the plane, there was no warmth anymore. We had to pull the plug, and leave the plane. There wasn't any electricity anymore, so we were pretty cold then. Well, anyway, when I got down and I changed my shoes, I buried my shoe. And now I was in a territory that was so scary, I guess I'll never forget the feeling that I had after I had landed into a place that I knew there were enemies all around me. I started walking, and I walked, keeping away from any towns or anything. I just walked, and I finally ended up into a little area of woods. Now, at the time we bombed, it was about 1 o'clock, and I walked till it got dark. And when it got dark, not knowing where I was, I walked around a stump. I stayed around that stump. I think I walked around that stump millions of times. I don't know how many times, but anyway, I walked around that stump all night, keep warm. Now, in the package that we were given, if we should be shot down, was an escape kit. And in that escape kit was a hard D-bar. We called it it was a chocolate bar, but hard chocolate. We had water purification tablets. In case we needed to drink water, we could throw the tablet in and purify the water. We had a map of the Germany area, the surrounding area of Germany. And we had $50 of escape money. Those are the things that we had in this escape kit. And I had already taken my D-bar out, and I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat something. That's the only thing. And I'm also getting pretty thirsty. But anyway, I started eating on the D-bar, but I kept going all night long until morning. In the morning, I come out of the woods into an area that was clearing, but I could see smoke coming out of smokestacks, and I knew that I must be near a village somewhere, and I didn't dare go near that village because I didn't want to get picked up. I was hoping that I could escape. I was hoping that maybe I would run into a person that would help me. A partisan, for example. I don't know if you've ever heard of what the partisans were, but the partisans were the German people that were against Hitler and his regime, and would try to help any people like ourselves, pilot or co-pilots or anybody that would drop down out of the air and give them refuge. As I walked out through the area of where the trees had left, and it was a nice open area, I saw a man skiing towards me. And the first thing I did was to put my hands up, because I knew I had been captured. Well, as I walked towards him, he seemed very friendly, actually. And close to him, he said, Americano? Or, no, first he said, Englishman. And he says, Americano. I said, yes. Good, good. That was good. So anyway, because he talked German, I couldn't understand it. I don't understand German very well yet, but I did learn some of it while I was a prisoner. Well, anyway, after a while, he came up to me and seemed very friendly, and I opened my escape kit, and I pulled the map out, and I gave him the $50 escape money. I'm all ready to be taken in with this man, you know. And I asked him, I said, where am I? I tried to ask him if he could show me where I was. He couldn't understand me. I pointed to the map, you know, but he couldn't understand me. And it wasn't only just a short period of time after that. I turned around to my right side, and here's 3 men with shotguns coming up the hill. Now, a shotgun barrel is only about that big around, but I'm going to tell you, when you're looking at it from where I was looking at it, the barrel looked that big around to me. But anyway, I was captured.